rainy day, terrible weather, slippery roads. Perfect conditions for a rear-wheel drive sports car. It's only lightly buried inside a dirt hill. I'm sure it'll come off when I start driving. Later, I'm still amazed that Toyota, the same people that bring you everything in their lineup, brought this out. It's so much fun. It's so ridiculous. It's so impractical. It's not Toyota at all. None of their other cars come close to this in terms of fun and uncompromising fun, actually. They did really well with what they had to work with. Small two-seater, light, rear-wheel drive sports car. And yet it's got a boot big enough to fit 4 tyres if you fold the seats down. In fact, the seats fold down. You don't usually see that in a coupe. It has rear seats. Admittedly, I'm pretty sure they're only there for insurance purposes and registration purposes to reduce the cost, but it has rear seats. You can fit amputees there. I think that's pretty much where the practicalities end though, because after that you've got a flat 4, partially developed by Subaru, so I'm sure most engineers at Toyota wouldn't have been very happy about that, given the interesting history of reliability that Subaru's had with their flat 4s. You've got rear-wheel drive, which is not efficient, of course, compared to a front-wheel drive car. Oops, I used the wrong indicators because it's been a while. You've got an extremely long bonnet so that they can set the engine as far back as possible and therefore improve the weight distribution. So much to the point that the driver sits almost exactly in the middle of this car. It's almost exactly in between the front and rear wheels, which gives you a really good sense of where the car is at any moment. The car actually pivots under you, not the front or the back of the car. The car came with 215 not very sticky tyres. They were perfectly adequate for driving around normally, but for a sports car they would be considered very thin, very narrow and very hard and not very grippy. But that's not really what the 86 is about. Grip is a thing that you can do if you want to, but it's kind of discouraged. It's not the point of this car, it's not why it was designed, but that being said, with a few modifications, this is actually a very capable car on track. If you do put sticky rubber on it and decide to be very serious, but I kind of feel like that's going a little bit against the grain of what the car was meant to be. The thing I've been struggling with when it came to showing this car is how do I show why this car is so much fun without being arrested? Because all the fun bits are frowned upon. As a day-to-day car, this car is fine. It's not amazing. I mean, it's got quite good visibility for a sports car, but somewhat compromised visibility for just a car. It's got, you know, enough room to be reasonably comfortable, and the seats are very supportive. The engine's got enough torque down low that you don't feel like you're having to rev the guts out of it just to get somewhere. It's not that bad on fuel either. It uses around about 6 or 7 litres per 100k if you drive it normal. If you drive it normally, then that's the big if. What am I on right now? Okay, so I've recently averaged 11 litres per 100k, but to be fair, this car pretty much only ever gets driven for fun times and to take to tracks. So it's not exactly a reasonable measurement of on-road performance. On the performance figures, this car can do 0 to 100. It also goes around corners quite well. Its brakes will stop the car. Yeah, it's got some performances. It has 140 kilowatts from the factory, which is fine. I mean, it's not problematic. It doesn't really need more, especially on a rainy day. You could probably do with less, honestly. But do you ever really need performance out of a car? Ooh, I'm gonna tuck into my little hidey hole. It's not like this car isn't covered in sap anyway. Oh, there's no reversing camera. Oh, can I even fit here? I may have made a huge mistake. It's a camera.
I thought it was a bunch of keys.
No, no. She seemed like a nice lady, the kind of lady that probably wouldn't appreciate the reason that camera's there. This 86 is very slightly modified. It's got Fortune Auto 500 coilovers, running 6 kilo springs front and rear, which I believe is the same as the stock coils. There's not really a lot of need to go any stiffer, especially in day-to-day usage, because the center of gravity is so low that stiffer springs just kind of create a rougher ride and also make the car a little bit more skittish and difficult to handle.